Sweet. Oh, yes, that is what I love to see, that we are live. What's up, everybody? I see there's a lot of students in the chat. Hello, welcome. It's me. You maybe you don't know me, but I am Scott or teacher Scott or professor Scott, né? Or Scott Lowe. What's up, everyone? So I am very glad to see so many people participating in the chat. That is so cool. Um, First of all, hi, Alejandro Gonzalez. What's up? Let's begin with that classic warm-up exercise. Send in the chat where you live or where you are right now, or what you had for breakfast, because that's always interesting. I love to hear that. Sabrina, hello, welcome. Sorry, I'm just reading everybody's comments right now. What is up? So we're talking about where we live and possibly what we had for breakfast, just because we're warming up, and I'm going to wait for a few more people to enter the live. I am in Colorado in the USA. That's right. Has anyone been to Colorado before? We have mountains, we have snow today. It's very cold because we're still in winter. And for breakfasts, today I actually skipped breakfast. That's right. I skipped breakfast. Does anyone else ever skip breakfast because it's just too much work, you know? I haven't been to Colorado, but whoa, Sabrina's best friend lives here. All right. That's very cool. It's a cool place to live. It's a little bit cold for my taste, but some people love it. What else do we have? We have Fernanda from Curitiba, Paraná, Brazil. That's cool. We have Alessandra from Rio in Brazil. We're going to be talking a lot about your city, Alessandra, Rio. We also have Chicago in the house. Manaus. Oh, that's awesome. We have a Manawara in the chat. I used to live in Manaus for a little while in Brazil, so that's very cool. Argentina, awesome. Oh, okay. I have good pronunciation. Well, thank you for noticing. I try, I'm a teacher, and I know that we're all practicing our listening. So, guys, students, buckle up, okay? Like, buckle up. Imagine you're in a car, buckle your seatbelt. That's an expression that means like get ready. So buckle up and get ready to practice your listening skills, okay? Because as you know, this live is 100% in English. So that's why it's called like a hardcore live class, all right? Live class, hardcore carnival. And so we will start talking about this very shortly. Sorry, I just love reading your comments and seeing where you're from. So we have Londrina, we have Colombia, amazing. Peru, welcome. Very cool. Am I using AirPods? Gabrielle asked. Yes, I am. AirPods. They're just so convenient. They're comfortable. Nice. Okay. We have a lot of students from Brazil. I sort of expected that. Yeah, I knew that there would be a lot of Brazilians here in the live class. So it's good to see. And I'm happy to see all of you. We also have Paulo living in New Zealand. Wow. Like the other side of the world. So that is cool. How do you like living in New Zealand, Paulo? I hear it's beautiful. Of course, there's beautiful landscapes. That's where they filmed Lord of the Rings. That's what everybody talks about, right? That's cool. Jose or Jose, I'm not sure which one, Jose, is from, I don't know, but he's saying hi. And so I want to say hello back. All right. So we have Minas Gerais. Anyway, a lot of people from Brazil in this live. But we also have people from other countries in South America, Central America, North America, really people from like all over the world. So this is a very special, like worldwide live class, just with teacher and students. And behind the scenes, we also have teacher Thaiza, and she is going to be helping us with this presentation because, I'm here, I'm talking to you, I'm reading the comments, and she's going to help us with our awesome live class presentation. So, without further ado, I think it's time that we jump in to our live class about hardcore carnival. Or is it a hardcore live class about carnival? Let's see. Thaiza, there you go. Perfect. We have the presentation. So everybody get comfortable, put in your headphones or your AirPods if you have them, and listen up, okay? Because we are going to have this hardcore live class in English. If you have any questions, feel free to send it in the chat, okay? Or if I'm talking too fast, please let me know. Just say, Teacher Scott, can you please slow down? And I will be happy to. That's totally okay. So that's it. If you have questions, if you want me to slow down or repeat something. Also, I am going to need the participation of everyone watching. Okay. Um, in the beginning, especially you Brazilian students, okay? Because we're talking about Carnival, which is really a worldwide celebration. But who is known for Carnival, right? Brazil. When you hear Carnival and we're talking about the party, the first thing that I think of, and I think most people, we think of Brazil, right? Because they throw the biggest parties, they have the most iconic celebrations, right? So I'm going to have a lot of questions. And if you Brazilians have some answers for me, please send it in the chat. And, we're all just going to learn from each other. Okay. So keep the chat going. And yeah, Sabrina is on board, right? You're probably Brazilian, right? So you probably know about this. You know a little bit about Carnival. Manuela says, I'm Dominican Republic, and there are okay. So the Dominican Republic also has Carnival. Wow. I did not know that. So I'm already learning something new from Manuela, and that's awesome. Man, I have always wanted to go to the DR, the Dominican Republic. Seems like an amazing place, so culturally rich. I love the weather that you guys have there. Anyway, so those are the rules. Participate. Please help me if I don't know some facts about Carnival. And even if you don't live in Brazil, just like Manuela in the Dominican Republic, she said that they have Carnival where she lives too. So we're all learning from each other. And this is just going to be a very rich cultural exchange because we have the opportunity to talk to people from all around the world. And I think that's pretty cool. So, all right. Yeah, I'm just reading the comments. I love it. You students are amazing at participating, and your English is fantastic. Your writing skills. I'm sorry. I'm such a proud teacher right now because, I'm part of Fluency Academy. Maybe you've seen some of my classes. It just makes me very happy to see you all here learning, improving, and now practicing 100% in English in this hardcore live. So I'm sorry if I start crying. I'm just so proud of you. Okay, now let's get started with this really cool presentation and let's learn some new things about Carnival. Okay, so Thaiza, next slide whenever you're ready. Perfect. Okay, let's begin talking about the Carnival celebration, or Carnaval, as they say in Brazil, with the most iconic spot. In my opinion, I think Rio is like the iconic, quintessential place where carnival happens, where the celebrations happen, right? And in fact, it is one of the largest and most famous carnival celebrations in the world, right? So now we're reading on this presentation here. It's one of the largest and most famous celebrations in the world, right? Um, Okay, Eduardo says the best part of Carnival for him is the vacation because he can take a trip to someplace far away. All right, yeah. So maybe if people live in Rio, maybe they use that opportunity to travel somewhere totally different and maybe get away from all the craziness. But for many of us, we travel to Rio so that we can participate in the festivities. And so, what exactly happens during this carnival celebration? Well, let's go to point number two here. The most important event takes place at the Sambódromo Sapucaí. And those are a couple of difficult words for this gringo to pronounce. Um, but yes, this is where the big event, the event that we all think of, the Sambódromo Sapucaí, it's where the parades, the dancing, and where the samba schools compete. Okay. So, again, something we think of when we think of Brazil and Rio de Janeiro. Que pronúncia gringa foi essa, cara? When we think of that, we think of samba, the dance, right? So, I do not know how to dance. Definitely don't know how to samba. Okay. Look at me. But how many people in the chat watching, just raise your hand or send any emoji, like a dancing emoji. That's right. Send that little dancer emoji if you know how to samba. I want to see it. Send some emojis in the chat. Okay. I'm waiting. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to take a look at the chat. Gustavo Oliveira says the best part of Carnival is not going to work. Hey, I love a good vacation too, buddy. I'm right there with you. That's right. Okay, Emmanuel says he knows how to samba. All right, impressive. Yes, I agree with Gustavo also. The best part of Carnival is not going to work. That's right. Okay. Awesome. So, at this carnival celebration in Rio that is super duper famous, we have the Sambódromo Sapucaí, which is where we have the parades, os desfiles, and the dancing, and it's where the samba schools, all these amazing dancers, they compete to see who is the best samba dancer, sambista, in the whole city. So that's very cool. And what else do we have? What other parts of carnival are there? Well, as Gustavo was saying, we have vacation. As other people was saying, we can use this time to travel far away. Also, though, when I think of carnival in Brazil, I think of this third part here. This carnival, the one in Rio, also has the popular blocos. They're street parties throughout the city. Okay, so real quick, Thaisa, let's go to the next slide so we can see some pictures. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so first of all, on the far side, we have what I was saying, the Sambódromo Sapucaí. Look at the production. Look at how many people. Look at that big eagle. That's beautiful. So that is like the parade. That is the Carnaval parade that the world thinks of because it is iconic. It's beautiful. That's where people are dancing and doing the parade. I agree. Yeah. Amazing picks, right? Very cool. Unfortunately, I did not take these personally. No, not at all. But they are awesome. So over there we have the samba and the sambódromo, the samba dancing. And then up here, this is another super iconic part of Carnival for like everybody, even people that don't know how to dance, like myself. we can take part in enjoying the street parties called, who remembers? I just said it. It's a word that starts with a B, and that's the Portuguese word for these street parties. Look at all those people. Um, wow, it's crazy to see that, you know, after the pandemic and the lockdown and all that stuff is over, now we can go back to these huge street parties called, yes, Gabriel, Jaceli, Nixon, they all got it right. They're called blocos, right? Blocos, like blocks, because, you know, it's like a party on a street block. So that's right. Yes, os blocos são famosos. They are famous in Brazil. Um, does anyone have like good experiences at street parties at these blocos during Carnival? You know what? Actually, I regret that. Don't tell us your stories from the blocos at Carnival, just because I know you guys probably have some wild stories, right? About the crazy partying that happens in the street, right? The all the delicious alcoholic beverages, the dancing, the mingling. You get to meet so many different people. Maybe you don't even ask their name. Anyway, those are like two huge parts of Carnaval, and we can see that in Rio de Janeiro, Rio, they do it right. Okay. The Cariocas, the people from Rio, they know how to party. Okay. Look at all those people. They're having a great time. Amazing. Mandy in the chat says, what happens in the blocos stays in the blocos. What happens in these Carnival street parties stays in the street parties. That's right. You don't have to talk about it after. Um, and that is actually a very famous phrase in the US as well, to talk about another famous party destination, Las Vegas. That's right. So, can I write in the chat? If not, that's okay. I'll tell you. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Has anyone heard that saying before? Because, sometimes some crazy stuff happens in Vegas. So maybe you just want to keep that a secret afterward. It's like those movies, what are they called in English? They're called The Hangover. I think in Brazil they're called Se Beber Não Case, like if you drink, don't get married. Anyway, The Hangover, that's right. Anything you need to know about Las Vegas, just watch those movies and you'll understand it. Yo, they should make a Hangover Part 4 about Carnaval in Brazil. Right? Now that would be insane. Okay. I mean, I think they've already made too much or too many of those movies, but if they wanted to make number 4, Hangover Part 4, I'm just saying they could definitely do it about Carnaval in Rio, right? Okay. So, very good. We've talked a little bit about Rio, which is like the biggest Carnival celebration in the world. And we've talked about Vegas. Sorry, I meant to answer a question in the chat. Is there a Carnival celebration in Las Vegas? I don't know, actually. Let me Google it real quick. Let's check it out. I am not aware. I don't think there's like a big Carnival in Las Vegas. I'm sure they have some like local parties, Yeah, I just Googled Carnaval Las Vegas, and it looks like, yeah, they do have some parties. But just to be clear, it's nothing like this. Okay. There's no comparison. Las Vegas is like a different thing. Alan from the Hangover movies would love Rio, says Helen. Totally agree. Maria, are you late? No, only like 20 minutes, but we're like not even halfway. So stick around. We're happy to have you here. We've just talked about Carnaval in Rio, in Brazil. Now let's talk about another destination. All right, Thaisa, next slide. There we go. Yes. Now we're talking about São Paulo, Sampa, the New York City of Brazil. At least I think so. I think they're pretty similar with the skyscrapers, and I think there's a lot of similarities there. Huh? Who would agree? Do we have any Paulistas in the chat that would say, yeah, it's kind of like the Brazilian New York City in some ways? You got the subway, the skyscrapers. You even have your own like Central Park. You have quite a few actually, right? Ibirapuera, beautiful, beautiful park. So anyway, in this amazing city, I really like São Paulo. The Sambódromo Anhembi parade up here, the first point. The Sambódromo Anhembi parade in São Paulo is the second largest in Brazil after Rio's. So yeah, we know that they have a huge Carnival celebration, but in second place for size is definitely São Paulo. They have their own sambódromo, their own samba schools and samba competitions. And fun fact number 2, Carnival celebration in São Paulo is very recent and it has been growing in popularity. That's right. It's relatively recent. Of course, in Rio, it has years and years and decades of history. In São Paulo, it is relatively recent. But yeah, it's definitely growing every year. Number 3, in São Paulo, you can also find the popular blocos spread throughout the city, throughout the gigantic city. So, once again, I will ask the Paulistas in the chat, the people who live in São Paulo, for their opinion. What do you like Carnival in your city? Is it cool? Have you been to these street parties, these blocos? Huh? Pretty cool. How does it compare to Rio? How about that? Let's eu quero treta, gente. Let's compare the two. Rio Carnival and São Paulo Carnival. What are the pros and cons, huh? And while you guys are thinking about that, we have Elder Pedro. Did you know that there's a Carnival party in Japan? Whoa, hey, Elder, I did not know that. That's very cool. Where did your comment go? Wow, that's cool. Did anyone else know that there is a Carnival in Japan, super far away, other side of the world? That's cool. I bet that's really amazing, actually. I bet there's just like so many lights and the energy has got to be crazy awesome at Japanese Carnival. Yes, okay. And then he also says that Sao Paulo is the best Carnival. All right, hey, that's his opinion. I will choose to not form an opinion. I'll just let you, okay? Rio is the best. Minas Gerais, also in Brazil. They're saying it's the best. In Argentina, says Cynthia Chavez. In Argentina is very cool. Okay. Wow, yeah. Argentina is a very cool place. You know, they have amazing food, especially steak, right? They have, I don't have my meu tereré, my yerba mate. It's like a tea that I drink. They have it in Brazil and they have it in Argentina and, other countries, but it's like my favorite thing. It's a big part of my personality. Anyway, let's go back to our presentation. Okay, we're talking about Sao Paulo, and I want to make sure that, we give them the attention and respect that they deserve. Number 4, I think my picture is in the way. Thaisa, could we move my beautiful image out of the way? Because I don't remember what this slide says. Let's see. Okay, this Carnival features some cultural events as well, such as music performances. Well, of course, yeah. So, they've got shows, they've got bands playing, they've got big live performances. It sounds very cool, honestly. Let's go to the next slide and see some pictures of São Paulo's carnival celebration. Nice. Okay, wow. That is that kind of gives me like some anxiety seeing all those people up here in the blocos. Who else sees this many people, this like huge crowd, this sea of people, and they're like, whew, that's a lot of people. It's giving me a panic attack just thinking about it. But if you like to party and you like Carnaval, that looks amazing. Look at that is not just a bloquinho, that is a blocão, blocaço. That's like a big block, a big street party, right? That is so many people. Um, and then over on the other side, we have the iconic Sambódromo Anhembi, which is the Paulista version of the samba competition and parade in Rio. So that also looks very iconic and huge. So, yeah, I mean, São Paulo Carnival, it looks pretty sweet. It looks like it's definitely, uh, you know, getting bigger every year. And okay, yes, my people in the chat, they're saying that they don't really love large crowds, right? Um, nice. Okay, in Colombia, they also have Carnaval. Barranquilla, right? Sorry, my Spanish is no bueno. But that's very cool to know that in Colombia they also have Carnaval. That's cool. Colombia is on my list of places to visit, um, especially after seeing the movie Encanto. A big fan of Disney. Anyway, man, I wish we had like more time in this live because I would have loved to prepare pictures of these carnival celebrations all over the world. Like, what does it look like in Colombia, in Argentina, in the Dominican Republic? Huh? And of course, again, Minas Gerais represented in the chat. Um, I love Minas Gerais, and I've heard good things about their carnival celebrations as well. Okay, good. So now we have a better idea of what carnival looks like in São Paulo, one of the biggest, most populous cities in the world. So of course they have a crazy carnival celebration. Now, let's talk about a city a little bit different in Brazil. It's still a big city. It's a capital, but it has a very different and very rich cultural history. Okay, I mean, so much amazing music originated in this city that we'll talk about. So much good food, and they have some of the best beaches. Okay. Can anyone guess what city I'm talking about? That will be our third carnival celebration that we will look at. It has amazing beaches, it's hot, it's a big city, and it is famous for carnival celebrations. Alessandra Maranhão, she guessed it. It is Salvador. That's right. So, number 3, let's check out Salvador, their carnival celebrations. Okay, I'm going to read through these. Let's go. It is one of the biggest and most vibrant carnival celebrations in the country. That's a very good adjective, vibrant. It's very vibrant. It's bright. It's colorful. That's true. I've seen pictures. It features traditional Afro-Brazilian music, such as achou, samba, reggae, and pagode. That's right. So, like I mentioned, Salvador has such a rich and a very unique cultural history, and because of that mix of people there, they've given us so much amazing Afro-Brazilian music, okay? So you can expect to hear some amazing music at the carnival celebrations in Salvador. Um, yeah, Luciana agrees. She says, Salvador, the biggest party of the country. Okay, hey, that's a pretty big claim, but I believe you. In fact, it is known for its massive street parties or blocos, organized by local neighborhoods, and they attract huge crowds. So I have never been to Carnaval in Salvador, but I've heard that like each of these different blocos, these street parties, like it says here, they're organized by local neighborhoods, which I think is very cool. And I've heard they all have like different themes. Is that right? Like there's a different theme for each party that you go to. Is that the case? Um, Tell me in the chat if you know, what are some different themes that you could expect to see at a carnival celebration in Salvador? What are some examples of some different blocos? Helen Rodriguez asks if I have ever been to Salvador, and unfortunately, no, not yet. No, but I would love to. It I think I would love the place because I love warm weather, I love beaches, I love food, and I love discovering different music. So, yeah, I'd be very excited. And yeah, so Salvador is on my list. How about all of you guys watching from outside Brazil? So far, which of these three places or other places would you most want to experience Carnival? Do you think you'd want to go to Rio, São Paulo Carnival, or Salvador Carnival? Hmm? All right, let's finish up learning about Salvador Carnival before you make your decision. The main event in Salvador Carnival is the trios elétricos and bands that parade through the streets. Very cool. Okay, so we have some vocab words. Trios elétricos. I know this is an English live, but we're learning some Portuguese as well. What is trio elétrico? Well, in English, I think we would call it a float. That's right, a float. Float. So it's basically a huge modified truck or vehicle, and it's decorated all crazy. And then, as it says here, different bands and musicians, they play music on top of the float as it parades through the streets, right? And in a moment, we'll see a picture of that. But first, it is a unique cultural experience that showcases the rich cultural heritage of the region, like I was saying. So, yeah, it's a tough decision. Would I rather go to Rio or Sao Paulo or Salvador? I don't know. I can't decide yet. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Carnaval of Barranquilla, okay, in Colombia, right? And someone else says they would like to go to Rio Carnival. Good choice. Let's see. The Cali Fair in Colombia is very vibrant. Okay. Let's see. Luis, is that like a type of carnival celebration? Is that different, or I'd love to hear more. Let's see. Carnival in the Netherlands is very lively. Oh, I bet. Of course. Yeah, the Netherlands. I bet that'd be very cool. Pernambuco. Okay, another Brazilian carnival. Nice. I miss Carnival because Bogota doesn't celebrate in Colombia. I guess in their city, this person is saying, Orianis is saying that they don't celebrate Carnival in Bogota. So, yeah, I bet you would miss it. Let's see. Salvador has Carnival all year round. Wow. Well, they love to party, right? So, speaking of which, let's see some pictures. before we make a final decision for ourselves. Wow, look at that. Okay. Again, we've got some blocos, the bloquinhos, which means like little block, bloquinho in Portuguese. Many of you know that, but hey, if you're not a Portuguese speaker, that's what it means. It means like a little block, which is funny in this case because obviously this thing is huge. Okay. So it's like a blocaço. I made that up. I invented that word, but it's what it is. It's huge. And then over in the other picture, we can see an example of a float, the trio elétrico, as they say. So it is a huge vehicle or a truck that's been modified and decorated, and we have people partying on top, all around it, in the buildings next to it. And if you can just imagine the loudest sound in the world, um, it's not even loud enough because these things are super loud. I mean, you can hear the music from probably a mile away, maybe more. I don't know. Yeah. Um, so I read an interesting comment, so I have to check it out. Carnival in Quebec is it's about an ice sculpture contest and many other activities under the snow all over February. Okay, so Carnival in any place in the world takes place usually in February, this month, or in March. It depends on like the moon cycle. And so I don't know. I don't think we have a slide about the origin of Carnival, but that's okay. It's celebrated by millions of people because it's based on the Christian and Catholic holiday Lent. Lent. Basically, it's like a week where you abstain from things or you fast. Maybe you give up food or you stop eating meat. It's just like it's a week of thinking about your spirituality and you're sacrificing different things. So that's good. That's Lent. Now, Carnaval comes right before Lent, which I think is awesome and really funny because it's like one big last crazy party before the week of like fasting and praying and abstaining from different things. So man, that's I think yeah, it's cool, you know. Carnival, it has a long history, and that's why we see it in different places all over the world because it's spread throughout the entire world, right? Um, yes, Quaresma, right? In Brazil, in Portuguese, it's called Quaresma, Lent, that religious holiday of a week long. So yeah, Carnival comes right before. It's like one last chance to partay, right? Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Thaisa, let's see what else we have. Oh, that's right. It is quiz time. Brr, 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 brr. So I hope that you were all paying attention because I have some quiz questions for you. All right. So if you're Brazilian, yes, you may answer, but I ask that you just wait for some other students to answer first because é claro que vocês já sabem a resposta. And so let's let some other people answer first. So, question number 1. Is São Paulo's Carnaval an old tradition? Is it a very old tradition? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat, you know. Go ahead. See if you can answer. Is it a very old tradition or is it more recent? Hmm? Okay. Elvis in the chat says, no, it is not very old. Felipe, Martha, Barbara, Manuela. Okay, very good. Alessandra. Excellent answers. Nixon says, no, it's relatively new. Okay. So I will reveal the answer after these 3 questions. Number 2, what are the street parties called? Hmm? Can anyone remember that specific word for the street parties of Carnival? Hmm? Go ahead, send it in the chat. I'll wait. And while you're sending your answers, I thought of an interesting fact is in the US, we also have something called block parties. So it's similar to this idea of a street party because a block party is any sort of like a neighborhood organized get together. It could be crazy or it could be a little bit more relaxed, but anytime that like you block off the street, like you don't let cars enter and everyone just comes out of their house into their own street and they talk and they eat and they barbecue and they drink, it's a block party. So we have like a similar concept in some regions in the USA that happens during the whole year round, especially in the summer. So let's see. Number 2, do we have some answers? Yes, we do in the chat. Blocos, block party. Yes. And, I saw also sambódromo. I saw someone remember that as well. So we have street parties, and then we also have the sambódromo, which is like the big main celebration with the samba and the parade. So good job remembering. Number 3 is like hardcore level difficult because there's a lot. What are the traditional music genres featured in Salvador? Huh? Can anyone remember? Even if you just remember one, throw it in the chat. Let's see. Can you think? Okay, we've got some answers. What are some of the traditional music genres featured in the Salvador Carnival? Okay, I'm seeing pagode, achou, samba, of course. Yes, classic. Reggae. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've got some reggae. All right, so let's check out these answers. Let's go to the next slide and take a look. There it is. Here's the answer key. So how did you all do? Pretty good? I think so. I saw a lot of correct answers. Yeah, that's right. So first in Sao Paulo, it's relatively new, the carnival celebration, but it's getting bigger and better every year. Number 2, these street parties or block parties in Brazil are called blocos or bloquinhos. And like I said, that second word means little blocos. It features traditional Afro-Brazilian music such as axé, samba, reggae, and pagode. That's right. And that is some good music. All right. Some excellent food as well. So that is it. That is our presentation about Carnaval in different parts of Brazil. Let's go to the next slide. And I have a question for our international students, especially the people outside of Brazil. Tell me, like, I don't know, maybe one fun fact about Carnaval where you live in your country. And you've been telling me during the whole time, but let's feel free to send your comment again. I'd love to hear a little bit more about Carnaval in Canada, like in Quebec. The person was saying that they do like ice carving and snow themed carnival. That's very different for me because in Brazil, carnival is during their summer months. So typically it's hot. It is super hot and toasty. So yeah, a cold carnival, that's different. That's kind of cool. It's fun. It's funny actually today I was playing in the snow because I'm in Colorado. I'm not in Brazil right now, unfortunately, but we have snow carnival. And what else? We carnival in the Netherlands was very cool. In Ecuador, let's see what Nixon has to say. In Ecuador, people throw water at other people and try to get them all wet. Okay, they have like a water fight. Yes, thank you, Thaisa. There's the comment. That's cool in Ecuador, huh? And that's like part of their carnival celebration? That's cool. Do they do like water balloons? Right? Like bexiga de agua. That sounds cool because it's probably hot, right? Okay. Mario Ramirez is talking about the famous carnaval in Barranquilla. Let's check it out. We are going to the Guacherna. What is that? Is that like the name of a specific party in that carnival? That's cool. I love discovering more. I can't believe it's like it's everywhere, you know? In Colombia, says Estefani, in Colombia, we celebrate black and white carnival. Okay, that's different. So, like, is the theme just black and white? Like, no, like, bright colors? Wow, that's different. I didn't know that. That's cool. So, usually when I think of carnival, I think of the colors like green, purple, and gold. And because in the US, maybe you don't know this, we also have a huge, very famous carnival celebration. That's right. Yeah, I know that usually we think of Brazil and other South American countries when we think carnival, but the US has its very own carnival celebration called Mardi Gras. Okay, that is actually French for Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. If anyone knows, please write it in the chat. It's French, and I'm using my Americanized pronunciation, Mardi Gras. So Mardi Gras is very similar to Carnival. I mean, it's like the same celebration. It takes place at the same time this month, sometimes in March, and it happens specifically in New Orleans. That's right. Yes, Helen, you got it. New Orleans, Louisiana. Here in the south of the United States, we've got the Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans, Louisiana. Uh, yeah. So I think the history there is that there were so many French migrants, so many people from France that came and they lived in New Orleans and they still do. So it has a very rich, like French culture there. And that is why the carnival celebration is called Mardi Gras, French for Fat Tuesday, because it happens on a Tuesday, and like fat because it's all about excess. Like you eat whatever you want and you drink a ton of booze, and it's just all about having fun, you know? Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. And does it compare to like Carnaval, Rio de Janeiro? Maybe not. But Mardi Gras is like a big, huge party. It's crazy, and like everybody knows about it. Everyone talks about it. So yeah, we have our own United States version of Carnival. It's called Mardi Gras. So there's a fun fact for you. Where is the celebration Mardi Gras? It's in New Orleans, Louisiana, my friend. New Orleans, Louisiana, in the south of the United States, typically in a neighborhood called Bourbon Street. That's where like all the good restaurants and bars and stuff are. And hey, what happens in Mardi Gras stays in Mardi Gras. Okay. That's a general rule for like carnival celebrations all around the world. What happens there stays there. Mardi Gras. It's sorry, I can't write in the chat, but somebody else wrote it in the chat. It's Mardis space Gras. Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday. It's French, and I don't speak French. That's it. Nilma, nailed it. Thank you. Yes, Mardi Gras. Very good. All right. Well, wow. I think we all learned a lot. I learned quite a bit about carnival celebrations throughout the world. We all learned a little bit more about Brazilian carnival, right? A little bit about Mardi Gras. And speaking of Mardi Gras, Maria asks, what do they do in Mardi Gras? Well, like I said, what happens in Mardi Gras stays in Mardi Gras. But it's the same. There's like parades, there's music, there's drinking lots of alcohol, there's probably dancing, but I don't know. Not samba. At least not people that know how to dance samba well, right? They probably have their own dances at Mardi Gras. I've never been. It's a little too crazy for me. Um, yeah, so Mardi Gras, it's pretty crazy. Anyway, I just want to wrap up today by saying hi, or yeah, bye, and that I miss this interaction with you, the students of Fluency Academy. It's been a while since I've done a live class, so I am happy to be back. I am so pleased with all of your progress. Um, well, you've been listening to a 100% English live class for almost an hour, and you're still here, and you're answering questions, and you're understanding, and that's just super cool. So that's it. I'm very proud of you. Andrés, no tiene que entender todo, pero estamos aquí trabajando y entrenando nuestro inglés. Okay, that was my attempt at Spanish. Sorry, no hablo español muy bien. And that's it. Okay, Gabriel says it's very easy to understand. So, we're all at different levels and we're still practicing. That's okay. All right, that is it, guys. It is now my dinner time. So I need to go eat some dinner, but I will probably see you in some future live classes, right? All right, stay strong, keep practicing, and talk to you guys soon. Okay, peace. Peace out. Bye bye. Bye now.